Joining us here in the studio, we have Jeffrey Ann Goudie. She's a finalist for the Literary Arts Award from Arts Connect. How are we, Jeff?
Very good. I'm a little hot, but hanging in there.
It's a scorcher out today, absolutely.
It is indeed, yeah.
Well, so glad to have you here, and congratulations on your status here as a finalist.
Thank you.
And thank you for your contributions to the arts community here in Topeka. I'm
very honored to be a finalist. I think all the three finalists are wonderful. I think we should have a three-way tie.
We'll get to that later, but let's see. In your opinion, I guess the first question we want to talk about a little bit here is tell us about your involvement, the elevator speech in the Topeka arts scene.
Okay, well, I'm a long-standing freelance writer.
Okay.
For many years, I had a column in the Topeka Capital Journal and also the Topeka Metro News. And most recently, I have written profiles for Topeka Magazine of Topekans who are making a positive difference in their community. And I really like that. I like to connect to Topeka that way and highlight people who are making a difference.
Very good. Where were you born?
Midland, Texas.
Okay, and when did you move to Topeka?
Oh, golly. We moved to Topeka. My husband is Tom Averill, who's a writer.
Okay, yeah.
Professor at Washburn. And when he got on the tenure track and we had our baby, our first child, we moved over here. And so we've been here for 33 years.
Yeah, and as a writer, and you know, when you talk about someone who may have influenced you into the person you are today, who do you think that is?
I graduated from college a long time ago, 100 years ago, and actually 1971.
You're only, what, 29?
Yeah, right. That was the day of Woodward and Bernstein in the Watergate era, and everyone wanted to go into journalism, and so I wanted to go into journalism, but I tried daily journalism and didn't really like it, so I've sort of toiled in the backyard of journalism, book reviews, newspaper columns, and then have branched out to Topeka Magazine profiles, and also go on the radio and talk about books in Kansas City for the NPR affiliate KCUR.
Okay, so what was the 8-year-old version of you doing in your spare time?
The 8-year-old version? Reading.
Reading?
Reading, yes.
It's always interesting to see how what people do versus
we actually had
today.
A hammock, so.
Really?
Yeah.
A very leisurely place to enjoy it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What do you think of Topeka's art scene? Maybe from where you first came into contact with it to where we are today?
Well, I think Topeka's art scene is really flourishing. I think Sarah Fazell has done a great job with Arts Connect and really kind of upping the game of the First Friday. I think First Friday is an incredible experience for most people. I usually don't miss it. It's a great bringing together of people and also a great showing of artists. And also, one thing that's really unique about Topeka, I am not a poet, I'm a nonfiction writer, but there is something in the water that produces great poets in Topeka. And our present poet laureate, Eric McKendry, was just named poet laureate as a 5th-generation Topekan. And Kevin Young has been nominated for the National Book Award. Ed Skoog writes for Copper Canyon Press. It just goes on and on and on. And in fact, my husband was just called by a magazine writer who's going to write a story about the Topeka phenomenon in poetry.
Interesting.
So there's something, you know, that encourages that kind of creativity.
And what do you think, you know, the advantages we have living in an area like this, say, versus one of the larger areas where people who are aspiring poets might have decided they had to leave or go to? You know, what kind of advantages do we have for the people who stayed here?
Well, I think that Topeka is doable and affordable, and I asked my son the other day what he liked about Topeka, and he said it's an urban setting but with a small town feel. And I think that's true. I think also the public schools in Topeka are presently good and have many long-standing traditions of excellence. I think that's part of why we have so many outstanding writers that come from Topeka.
Okay, now for this literary award, what would you like to say to the person or persons who may have nominated you for this?
Well, I actually know who nominated me.
Okay, all right, all right.
And the person who nominated me, can I say her name?
Sure, yeah.
Jamie Porter Knox. And she's been a big fan of, in recent years, the past few years, I've been writing political commentary for the Huffington Post, trying to nudge the present administration more towards Kansas's historical centrist roots and away from the far right radical fringe. And she's been a big fan of that. So I've also written about Topeka a couple of times in my Huffington Post pieces. When the big brouhaha came about with Michelle Obama and the denying of the tickets and all that, I tried to frame that as, hey, Topeka does not deserve a black eye on this. There are people who are the first person in their family to graduate from high school. This is really important, and fortunately the First Lady was so gracious and offered to talk the night before, but I didn't think we deserved a black eye on that one.
Okay, so you've been around media and journalism for a very long time. So, what do you think? What do you think has changed there? You know, as we've kind of gone from a certain model to a different model.
Well, I mean, I would have never predicted how fast the newspaper business has changed. And with the advent of the internet, and also every newspaper admits that they made a mistake establishing their websites and giving their stuff away, and then they tried to put the wall up and sell their stuff, but people are used to getting their stuff for free and they are not going to pay for it. So I think we're going to have to go in a different direction. Just for me personally as a writer, I think I'm encouraged to write shorter. People's attention spans are shorter. Recently I've started reviewing books for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, and the first time I had a deadline of 450 words, or a word limit of 450 words, I thought, oh, ouch. But what I found was it really caused me to distill my ideas and kind of sharpen my ideas so I could do it. And I think that we're all kind of tending that direction with little Facebook posts and all that.
Little 140 characters or less kind of thing.
Yeah, I always joke, one of my heroes in journalism was John Leonard, who was the youngest editor of the New York Times Book Review, and he always said he had an 800-word mind. I'd say I have a 700-word mind. But it's going downward to 450 words.
Okay, so there are other people in the category you're nominated for. What do you have to say to them?
I had the total delight yesterday of being on a podcast with Annette Billings, and she really is a very accomplished poet and has a real presence. And I've known Doug Wallace for a long time and think there's nobody more knowledgeable than Doug about Topeka history. So I kind of like it that we're all doing such different things. So I don't see us as competing against each other. I see us as like trying to lift the profile of Topeka as an arts community.
Very good. And what would you like to see for Topeka's art scene 5 years from now?
Oh, I really hope that there's a lot of energy right now with the Jayhawk Theater, I feel, and they've been doing some stuff like that really quick weekend of refurbishing that they did. So I'd really like to see that come together, because I don't think people should have to drive to Lawrence to see small budget independent films. So that's one thing I'd really like to see. That'd be the biggest one.
Very good, very good. Okay, so we have the lightning round. That's the next piece here of the interview, the final piece actually. We're going to put 60 seconds on a clock. I'm going to ask you some personality questions. You just give us the answer that pops to your head first. All right?
Okay.
Here we go. We're going to put 60 seconds on and go. In your opinion, what was the greatest movie of all time?
Whoa, Roxanne.
All right.
Steve Martin.
Which big name celebrity do you idolize the most?
Meryl Streep.
If you had one superpower, what would that be?
Oh, to stop war.
Do you have any tattoos?
No, and I'm quite a conservative person about tattoos.
If you could take one personal item on a trip to Mars, what would you choose?
Oh, golly. Oh, man, that's such a good question. The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver.
Okay. Who are the top 3 people that make you laugh the most?
Oh, that's great. Steve Martin, for sure. Who else? My husband makes me laugh. I have a 33-year-old daughter and an 18-year-old son, and my son makes me laugh. And he keeps me current.
What's your favorite kind of sandwich?
Turkey.
Who's your favorite artist?
Visual artist.
Or any kind of artist, really.
My late father.
Okay. What's your favorite kind of music?
Oh, my son keeps trying to introduce me to rap and hip-hop. He's not breaking me down very well on that. I think I like mainstream pop. Okay. And also the music that was popular when I came of age. The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Under My Thumb.
And if you were ice cream, which flavor would you be?
Jamaica almond fudge.
Why was that?
Baskin Robbins, love it.
Okay.
Oh, if I were an ice cream.
If you were an ice
sorry,
cream.
if I were an ice cream. Oh, that's good. Chocolate. Little bit naughty, little bit nice.
There you go. And who is your favorite local talk show host?
Well, you, of course.
Thank you so much for coming here today. It was so fun to have you here. That's Jeffrey Ann Goudie here, a Literary Arts Award nominee here for Arts Connect's Artie Awards. Thank you so much, and best of luck to you.
It's my pleasure.